So now we're going to move on to Newsmast, and Michael is going to tell us all about it.
Hi, thanks, Johannes. I'll just share my screen and I'll just share this. Cool. Hi, I'm Michael. I'm one of the co-founders of Newsmast. I'm going to do an all-live demo. First of Newsmast, our Mastodon-based knowledge sharing initiative, and then of Patchwork, a bit of new technology we're spinning out from Newsmast. So, right, here's Newsmast. I'm showing this on my mobile because we're really a mobile-first project. We have an iOS and Android app. We're also cross-platform, so we have a desktop version and a PWA too, which you can find at newsmast.org. So Newsmast is a customized server and app running together. It's all built around knowledge-sharing communities. Here are our communities. We have 62 of them. You can browse them. You can also save them or pin them to your timeline. You can go into any community and see an all timeline or a For You timeline. And from there, you can also post to that community, where if you're on Newsmast, we'll post into that community, or if you're logging on from Mastodon, we'll add hashtags to your post to draw it into that community. A key point here is that I'm currently logged on to Newsmast, not through a Newsmast account, but through my mastodon.social account, which is here. I've got all my home timeline, my lists and bookmarks, all from my normal home timeline. So what we're looking at here is a home timeline from mastodon.social, where I can scroll and look at that alongside the Newsmast communities. And I can interact with both simultaneously without seeing any difference. Effectively, my mastodon.social account is acting as a guest account on Newsmast, and more of that later, really. A third cool thing, something new to show, which is coming on board next, is a thing we call the amplify your timeline. So over the next few months, as Blue Sky and Threads come on board, we'll be taking a careful approach to bringing content from those new networks into Newsmast. We're already researching key contributors to follow, looking to number a few thousand more to bring into all our communities. At the same time, we'd like to give users the option to choose the content they want to see. So they just want to see the Fediverse content in the timeline, they can do so. And also looking at the posts they can see too. Also, with a nod to Fanpy, who got there first, and we think it's a great idea, a chance to move back in time, shift time zone through the chronological time zone, apply that, and here you go. Amplifier is applied. You've now got your selection of content in the time zone you want to see. So that's Newsmast, and that's thank you for everybody who's really welcomed us to the Fediverse. We're sailing on quite nicely with that initiative and getting a lot of support for it. And it's we're very excited for the future for it. However, we're also working on some new tech underneath all of that. What we started off thinking was, and this is for organizations, that we could build an easy to use, customizable on-ramp to the Fediverse for organizations by taking Newsmast, stripping out all the content that we've curated, and enable people to operate, organizations in particular, to operate their own server. Here we're looking at non-profits, academic institutions, and news publishers in particular. And so through a Patchwork server, we're calling it, they can open an account, a bit obvious, but more interestingly, they could create a custom community timeline on one of our servers. We're working with a non-profit to pilot this, or they can go the whole way, launch a customized community server of their own, with their own domain, as many customized communities as they like. So that's our Patchwork community server. While we're developing that, the spam wave hit the Fediverse, and we began to think maybe we could do something simpler and even more radical than the community server. So during the spam wave, we realized our team, who've been working on Patchwork since late 22, but on Ruby on Rails for a lot longer, have built some really useful features in Newsmast, which protected us from the spam, and we thought could be used on any Mastodon server. And that's how we came about with Patchwork for server admins. Simple, customizable, and run as a lightweight layer on Mastodon. The code is 99% Mastodon, tiny bit of ours. That's why we're calling it really a suite of patches, not a fork. And most importantly, it's 80% built. We realized that within the complex fork of Mastodon that we've built as Newsmast, we have these simple little patches which we could offer to the rest of the Fediverse. So now I'm going to switch from that. This is our website under construction. Oh, and the eagle-eyed may have noticed here, we haven't got a logo yet. So I put on a Fedi version of Elmer Patchwork, see? So that's quite cool. So here we are on our first ever Patchwork server. Patchwork Online. So as you can see, this is basically Mastodon. It's 99% Mastodon. That's kind of our home, what we're used to, with a few extra features. The key one you can see straight away in the sidebar are the features which this server admin here has chosen to implement on this server. So this is fully customizable. If these aren't selected by the server admin, they won't show. Most importantly here, in addition to the things I'm going to show you next, federation. We think it's pretty important that servers up front show the choices they're making to federate or defederate from the networks that are coming into the Fediverse very soon, Blue Sky and Threads. We're not making any value judgment. The server admin can choose either way. Here, in deference to the next presenter, I've chosen to opt out of Blue Sky and opt into Threads. Obviously, you could do it the other way around, do both or neither. It's down to the server admin, but we think those are important choices. It's easy to make them with a touch of a button through Patchwork, and they're displayed here. So then delving more into the features that we have, we've expanded the About section to add in these server settings. So these are all the customizable features that a server admin can add. Firstly, spam blocking. So this is where we began. It's at the heart of Patchwork and what we're offering. We've got filters in place now, which worked for us, where you can filter out by hashtag or by keyword. We'd like to add image recognition next. We also have a simple sign-up challenge. So what happened with Newsmast is that, first of all, the spammers, they tried to get in, but they couldn't finish opening an account. They couldn't get past our sign-up challenge. And where some spam came in from the Fediverse, we're able to filter it out pretty simply. It's a good way of working with that. Secondly, building on those filters, we have the chance to add in content moderation, making available to server admins some content filters, easy to upload. They can either add their own or use pre-selected ones. We have ones on hate speech, for example, or on crypto if you don't want to bring that in. Or if you're in a non-explicit server, like we are at Newsmast, you can filter out NSFW content. We're also
Michael, now I understand
yeah.
why you guys wanted to have more than one demo slot. You have so many things to show.
I know. I'm coming to the end, Johannes. I have, exactly.
Yeah, we're out of time. We need to move on. So I really encourage you to run a separate session on, even several, because you have so many things to say. We don't need to move on. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you. I'll stop sharing.